Welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you clicked on this video because you're curious on how to convert your W58 to a W55. This is my third time making this video because I kept on saying the opposite. I kept on saying how to convert your W55 to a W58, but that's wrong. This video is to talk about you trying to manual swap your IS300 and trying to find a W58 to put in your IS300, and you want to do it the right way where the shifter's in the right spot, where there's not a gaping hole in your trans tunnel with heat and everything coming into your cabin. So this video is going to get very nerdy, very in-depth, very specific, and I'm going to put chapters down below on the timeline and links all over the description and whatever. I'm going to add as many features on this YouTube video as possible to help you out and make sure you don't make all the mistakes that I made when manual swapping my IS300, which I also made 2 other videos on my channel, which are very helpful to a lot of people, and thanks for telling me that either in person or in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions because of this video, comment down below. I'll reply back to you. I promise. I pinky promise. All right, so let's get straight into it. My friend started this website called IS300 Hub, which is the coolest shit ever. If you have an IS300, pardon my French, but he has IS300 parts, magazines, authentic parts from Japan, and he shouted me out with having my Google Drive link right here, which I'll have in the description. But he talks about colors, headlights, body kits, whatever in the IS300 information section. So right here he talks about the manual swaps and different transmissions you could use, which I also made a video on. So if you go to my Google Drive, which I linked down in my other video and I'll link on this video, it will tell you everything you need to know to manual swap your IS300 with a W55 or a W58 that's not a tripod version. So in this video, we will talk about the tripod versions because I've had a lot of people ask me about the tripod versions. So let's just do a quick SparkNotes review summary on this thing that I made for y'all. So bell housing, you need that. Do not get a MK3 Supra clutch fork. It will be the wrong size. Okay, you need the shifter extension. You need the shifter ball thing. You need a shifter lever, and of course the bolt that bolts the shifter ball thing to the shifter lever. That's what I'm gonna call it. I don't know the actual names. And you need a breather to be on the shifter extension to convert your W58 to a W55. Those are the main things that you need. The extension that puts it in the right place, the ball thingy, the shifter lever, the bolt that puts the ball thingy on the shifter lever, and a breather valve for the shifter extension. All right, that's the main thing you need. I have all the diagrams for you on links of the shifter extension, how everything goes, including this diagram where the shifter lever goes, where the shifter ball goes, where the bolt that mounts them together goes. Everything you need to know, including the reverse light connector and the reverse light sensor and the transmission speed sensor and the transmission speed actual sensor thing, the gear that spins it, what mount you need to use, what clutch you need to use, what drive shaft you need to use. Everything you need to know is on this list for you, for the community. Even how to make sure no heat and debris or whatever from the elements outside your car gets in the cabin. Fabster Industries, everything you need to know, including torque specs, everything is on this list for y'all. All right, let's get to the basics. So a W55, of course, looks like this. You know what a W55 looks like. Okay, has a shifter extension. A W58 can look many different ways. Here's a tripod version. Here's a normal version. You can't see that well. Here's a normal version. All right. You probably clicked on this video because you want to convert this to this, and that's what we're going to talk about. But let me warn you, this isn't the cheapest way to do it. The cheapest way to do it is get a W55 complete swap from someone on Marketplace, including all the parts you need, because people do that. People like have whole like part sellouts of manual IS300 with the clutch, with the flywheel, with the transmission, with the shifter, with everything you need. My recommendation to save money is to buy that. And I know W55s are weak, but I have many friends that, knock on wood, drift on W55s and do just fine. So run that for a bit. Enjoy your manual IS300 with the W55. When that does go, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't. If it does go, then you could get a W58, and you already have all the parts that I'm about to talk about. There you go. Let's get into the parts now. So of course you need the shifter extension. Here's the part number, 33570-530-110. 110? Sorry. 33570-530-10. That's the part number. I will warn you, there's another shifter extension that looks exactly like that. But it's not that. It's for the Verosa, which is a Corolla JZX thingy. That shifter extension is for an R154 transmission. So this is the part number for a W55. And I'm being very careful with my words because I want to guide you in the right direction and make sure you don't make the same mistakes I did. Because guess what I did? I bought a Verosa shifter extension thinking that it's the same thing because it was cheaper. Apparently, didn't fit because it's for a Verosa, not an IS300. And it's for an R154, not a W58. So let's move on. So this is the main diagram you'll be looking at. Okay? So you need the shifter lever that I'm circling right here, the shifter ball thingy, that's what I'm gonna call it, and the bolt. Those are the main parts you need to have. And to put these parts on the W58, unfortunately, you will have to take out the tail housing of the transmission. So let's look right here. My friend Cornelius Vee, great channel, subscribe to him. Once you take off the tail housing, you'll see this, and I promise you it's not that difficult. Okay? Like, you just take out like maybe 12-14 bolts, you take out the tail housing, and you'll need to transfer those two parts, those two parts, the main parts. Okay, he talks about it. I'll link his video below. So he talks about how this is how the W58 will look. You need to remove that, and you need to put the shifter ball thingy and the shifter lever thingy so you can put the W55 extension. So please watch that video. Please subscribe to him. Great guy, great dude. He started a company called Lunatics Co. So shout out to him too. I'll tag that down below as well. So you'll need this part, so the shifter extension, as well as the shifter ball, the shifter lever, and the bolt that connects the shifter ball thingy to the shifter lever. All right, let's look at the diagram for the other cars, and then we can talk about the shifters. So I'm gonna keep this up right here. And now we could talk about what cars did the W58 actually come in, and what are the differences when it comes to the diagrams and the internals of the transmissions. So the SC300, a lot of people don't know that it came manual. It was very, very rare. That's actually the car I wanted before I bought my IS300. So let's look at the diagram. As you can see, very, very, very similar, but there are a few differences. Unfortunately, you do need to buy the shifter lever from the W55 and the shifter ball still. You need to buy those main parts. But all the other internals are basically the same. So you have the shifter lever that looks very similar. I don't know if it's the same shifter lever. Don't hold me to that. But you have this thing, the shifter ball thing, whatever, extender thing, that's on there. And let's say you really, really, really don't want to buy the W55 parts. You just want to keep the internals of the W58 and you want to extend it and have it that way. Well, I'll have the links down below for you as well. You have a lot of different options from a lot of different companies to do that, to extend your shifter, but a W58 style shifter. So you have DefWorks that has this shifter extension. As you can see, this thing is the same thing as this thing. You have excessive manufacturing. You have drift motion of different sizes, and you have Heat Lightning Speed Shop of Georgia. All different ways you could extend your W58 with the stock W58 shifter wise. And since we're on the topic of shifters, let's talk about the differences of shifters. W58 shifters and W55 shifters are not the same shifters. So the W58 shifters have this ball and they just rest on top like this, and they rest on a bushing like that. Okay? A W55, the ball rests in this one, in the short shifter, but it rests in this hole right here. Okay? And it rests in a similar plastic thing like that thing. It's like this small. Those two shifters both share one bushing, which is this bushing, this tiny little bushing right here that you could buy from CubeSpeed. So your options to buy a W55 shifter are either CubeSpeed or Part Shop Max, which if you buy from Part Shop Max, you need to already have a W55 shifter, which is why I told you go ahead and buy the bundle from a Facebook Marketplace guy or deal, because you get everything you need. So unfortunately, you only have one option when you buy a shifter for a W55, basically, other than some eBay stuff, which I run the CubeSpeed shifter. I love it personally. I have the longer shift knob, so it's actually not that short. So let's move on. So the shifter from an SC300 looks like this. And as you can tell, the shifter extension looks completely different than the W55 shifter extension. A little bit more stout, and the shifter looks a little weird. And as you can see, the ball just fits into this bushing, and of course it shares the same bushing. So that's how the SC300 diagrams look. You're welcome to pause the video and take a screenshot, or use this site called amayama.com. I personally love it. I use it for all my diagram needs and just to figure out the internals of what I'm working with. So let's move on to the SC300's popular brother, the Mark IV Supra. You know what it looks like. Let's move on to the diagram. And again, same story. Shifter lever, shifter ball thingy, extender thingy. But unfortunately, this won't work with the IS300. You need to take out this, you need to take out this, and you need to put the ones from the W55. But here's something that I've never talked about before. W58 tripods. So the tripod version of the W58. All right. So the W58 tripod style has all this bullshit. Has a tripod, of course, has a weird shifter, has a weird shifter thing right here, has a weird bar right here. But if you look right here, it has the same 6-bolt thingy, shifter extension thingy that goes on top of the tail housing. So in theory, what you could do is get rid of all this shit right here. Just get rid of it. Just remove it. Okay? Go to the tail housing. Remove the lever, remove this thingy, remove the bolt, of course, and put in all these parts from the W55, from the IS300, this lever, this ball thingy, and the shifter extension, and bada bing, bada boom, you have officially converted a W58 tripod to a W55. Let me say that again, just in case I messed it up, I don't remember. You have officially converted a W58 tripod to a W55 for an IS300 with that process. Taking out this lever, taking out this, taking out all the bullshit from the tripod stuff, putting on the W55 lever, W55 ball, W55 bolt, and of course the shifter retainer extension thingy. So there you go. To those who talked about W58 tripods and all that kind of jazz. So there you go. That's what I could tell you. The Supras, the Mark IV Supras did come with a W58 5-speed for the NA models. For the turbo models, they had a 6-speed that was different. So, and of course, with this tripod information, I've never done this before. I've never converted a W58 tripod to a W55. So take it with a grain of salt. Moving on, let's go to the Mark III Supra diagram. Of course, same concept. You see a pattern here. Shifter lever, shifter extension thingy. Again, converted by getting the lever, the ball thingy, and the extension from the IS300 W55. There you go. You know what a Mark III Supra looks like. The shifter looks, again, really, really weird. The shifter is all the way back. If you look at the interior of the Mark III, it's a little weird. And the shifter extension from the W58 from the Mark III Supra is also a little tiny and a little weird, and you'll end up having your shifter in the radio if you don't change anything. If you manual swap your IS300 with a W58 from a Mark III Supra. And then lastly, the 80s Celica came with a W58, And the shifter is a little bit more weird with a tinier shifter extension. I wouldn't even call it an extension. And of course, the same concept. If you want to convert a W58 from a Celica of the 80s, then this little goofy little thing, then remove the lever, remove this extender, I can't even call it an extender thingy, and put in the same parts from a W55 from an IS300. Again, this lever, this ball, and of course, the extension. So, now that you know all the part numbers because of this video and because of all the links that I've put down below, where are you going to buy them? So for parts, either go to lexuspartsnow.com, a little bit pricey, but they do well, or any of your Lexuses, like parts.lexus, Lexus of Montgomery, or wherever you're at. You could find diagrams like this, all these red things. You click on it, there you go. It tells you the part number, it tells you the price, and it'll tell you how much shipping costs. So that's where you buy all your parts, lexuspartsnow.com or parts.lexus.com. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know, comment down below. Feel free to ask anything. Nothing is a dumb question when it comes to manual swapping your IS300, because I made a ton of mistakes. I wasted a ton of my money. I wasted a ton of my parents' money. I wasted a ton of my time. I wasted a ton of my friends' time. And I don't want you to do that, because I'm here to help, and I'm here to make sure that you successfully swap your IS300, get out on the track, enjoy this chassis, because it's not that popular of a chassis and not many people like them or drive them. So with all these great creators, including IS300 Hub on Instagram and the website, Cornelius Vee, Jack Dunlap, Dunlap Aero Solutions with the aero stuff, this entire community of IS300 people, we try to make your life easier. We try to help you all out and make sure your IS300 is running right, looks great, and is just another option when looking for a fun chassis when getting into cars. So again, thanks for coming to the channel. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next Sunday.